I mean, Cameron indoor, what are your thoughts on just being able to play in that kind of environment, except program with such a storied history?
Yeah, just a great opportunity. Growing up, loving college basketball, Duke was a program, that I followed closely. Had family members that attended there, so to be able to, in the professional part of my career, get an opportunity to go coach there is really special, and obviously we're looking forward to the opportunity tomorrow night.
So Coach K, you know him? I mean, for some reason I remember something like that.
I was fortunate enough to do a couple podcasts with him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, his podcast a couple times, which was incredible, and really appreciated the way he talked about our program last year and kind of the success we had, and it'd be pretty neat if he's around. I'm not sure if he will be or not, but would like the opportunity to meet him in person if he is.
You spoke about him. He called you after the national championship, right?
We Zoomed a couple times.
And that was the moment kind of things settled in for you, like when it all kicked in that you guys had done it?
Yeah, when that request came across Denver's desk, to hop on that podcast, it was a pretty special moment for sure.
How do you think you guys match up with this Duke team?
They're really good. I think with that being said, I think our roster is built in a way that could potentially, give them some issues. Obviously their front court's fantastic. Cam Boozer already playing like one of the best players in America. And my hope is our front court and our size and physicality can provide some good defense that way. As you can imagine, they have really good players. I think they play with a lot of purpose, but I think we're a new look for them as well. They played 3 high major games, first one for them at home, and as we said, it's going to be a great opportunity to go out there tomorrow night and see how well we're able to play.
I don't know, relief is maybe the word you use for Zaylee. I mean, just having those go through 4 shots from long range against Providence, just how big a performance was that for him, and how does he build off of that moving forward?
I think it was big for everybody, not just obviously for him as an individual, but for our program, because it's been no secret, like we need him to be better and to be good for us to be the best we can be, and I think with his play in the second half, specifically against Providence, you can see kind of the vision and the explosiveness of what we have in front of us if he can kind of continue to play with that confidence. But yeah, it was great, and I thought you saw him play more freely, having a little bit of joy out there, and it definitely loosened up the group pretty well in that game.
How's Condon doing? Can you take us through the decision just to precautionary reasons not to play him against?
Yeah, I mean, he got banged up pretty good, and this is a long season, man, and for us, we have a lot of short-term goals, but we have a lot of long-term goals as well, and you're not going to win the national championship in November, so we want to make sure we do everything we can to put our team in position to be successful in the interim, but also move forward. And again, in those situations, and it wasn't for a lack of respect of Providence or anything like that, but when you have these 2 games in front of you and then conference play looming in January, you don't want to end up getting to January and not have your guys upright. And so that was kind of the decision. Not an easy one after losing to TCU, because Providence felt like a must-win for us, and we felt like we needed to do everything we could to put our best foot forward. But I was really proud of the way guys stepped up, and we got some help off the bench to be able to get that game done.
That's like the 3rd time Ruben's massive wingspan has just knocked somebody in the head. There was the one against Arizona, and I think there was Merrimack, and then he hits his own teammate. Is it just freak of nature stuff, or do you coach that in any way?
Kondo got absolutely hammered in the back prior to Ruben hitting him, almost flagrant push in the back on the rebound that wasn't called. So I think that was probably more of the issue on that one. But yeah, I mean, Ruben's an incredibly long physical athlete. He's going to play really hard, and there's going to be some times where he gets knocked in a fray, and some guys are going to get knocked around. But that's part of who we are, the physicality, the toughness, and you don't want it to be too much friendly fire moving forward. But yeah, we're going to have to deal with that physicality for sure.
He's like Iron Man, the way he's built.
Really?
Yes.
Correct.
I mean, you bump into him, that you're going to feel it.
He's a strong individual.
Do you soak in these atmospheres just personally, like the Cameron Crazies? I mean, will you kind of just kind of check, notice it and soak it in, or are you just so tunnel vision when you're coaching?
I think as probably a cop-out answer, but a little bit of both. Walking on the court, you want to, we work pretty hard, to get into opportunities like this, where you get to coach at places like this and compete, against really good programs. And so you want to make sure that you enjoy and kind of take a moment to appreciate the opportunity. But after that, if you don't get locked in, it can be a long night, So you want to make sure you're fully focused on the right things. And I think we'll do a good job of that tomorrow night.
The better decision making over the final 36 minutes, just how encouraging was that to see after the way you guys started? You'd call for the team to limit turnovers at the loss TCU, and then the first 4 minutes you guys have 4 in as many minutes. Just those final 36, what did you see out of those, and how much of a relief, I guess, I hate to keep using that word.
I mean, I'd say more progress than a relief. Like we've been able to identify a couple areas that are pretty correctable in my opinion, and we're working through those. The one that we showed the most growth in that Providence game was obviously our ball handling and turnover. Only 4 times in the last 36 minutes. We scored 90. Like if we take care of the ball, we're going to be effective offensively. And that was the disappointing thing about the TCU game. I think people realize now that that's a really good club. They took Michigan wire to wire. Blasted Wisconsin. That game was never close. We had a 10-point lead in the second half. We gave that game. I don't want to say we gave it away because that's a little disrespectful to TCU, but we could have won that game, and we missed some opportunities there. And the biggest thing, again, was the ball handling and the fouling. And we did a better job of that against Providence. And I think we can continue to grow and get better in those areas. We're going to be a really good team, and I think we're close. We've had 2 losses, and I think we've been up double figures in every game except Arizona in the second half. So we've shown the capability of getting leads and playing well, but we haven't been consistent enough, and we got to finish. And I think those are the areas that over the next couple weeks of the season we got to get really, really comfortable and get better before we get to SEC play for sure.
What's the biggest difference you're noticing in Irvine Glasgow compared to last year this time?
Just getting comfortable. I think it's really hard to play good, high-level Division I basketball as a freshman or a first-year guy. Some guys can do it, very few can't, very few can. And I think he kind of was up and down last year, and you saw flashes of him playing really well, and then, oh man, this isn't the same guy we saw last week. And now I feel like you're seeing a guy that's kind of, all right, I'm comfortable now. I know where I'm going to get my shots. I know I'm going to pick my spots, and he's playing really, really well. He averaged 19 a game on average over the last 2 games. Shooting the ball really well, kind of providing us that scoring spark off the bench that we thought he could give us this year. And I feel like over the last couple weeks we've seen some more guys kind of get more comfortable and kind of getting closer, but we're not all the way there yet. Hopefully Zaylee will continue to do that, this week and moving forward.
You have familiarity with the Boozer twins, obviously.
You said?
No, I know you do.
Yeah.
And just what do you see with those two and their maturity at such a young age and production?
I think Cam's a different beast. He's a surefire top 3 pick in my estimation. I'd probably take him number 1 if I was a GM, based off his personality as a young man, and also the poise in which he plays and the comfort that he has out there being a go-to guy early in his career. He's phenomenal. He's really special, and Caden is as well. He's just he's more of a freshman. He's picking his spots out there. He's coming off the bench. Not nearly as high usage as his brother, and obviously plays a different position. Very good player in his own right, but Cam is special and unique in that sense of being a freshman that can be an impact guy on a really good team, and obviously will only be in Durham for a couple more months.
I know you got a veteran group, but and a lot of them have played in big games, but this is one of those top venues in college basketball. Do you address that with them in any way, just to not let the lights kind of get to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to understand, you got to play a little bit different of a ball game in there. You're not on your home floor, right? So it's not like you can lose in the sense of flying it up every time. You got to be a little more thoughtful on when you're trying to push and attack, a little more thoughtful when you need to run offense and make them guard you. I think you got to be a little more solid in the margins. You got to be on the scouting report a little bit better. You got to be on executing kind of the defensive coverages a little bit better. Just having a little bit more of an execution mindset while still playing really hard and flying around. Whereas at home you can play a little freer and maybe not as tight in the sense of trying to execute everything perfectly. So that, going to that game, making sure we don't run into an ass kicking. If they go on a little bit of a run, slow down a little bit and make them guard us. But we have to stay super aggressive, but also understand all right, you don't have to fly it up every time. Make them guard you a little bit and see if you can get them chasing. So yeah, you got to play a little bit of a different game going on the road, playing in a top 3 environment like Cameron.
Did you circle this one on the calendar?
Did I circle it?
I mean, I'm being cliche.
Yeah,
you schedule a game like this.
Every game on the calendar.
But it's different. Just a little different.
I mean, in a way, these are more enjoyable, all right? Because you don't have as much to lose. You go into this game, and it's if you go into Cameron and win, it's going to be the best, resume win in the country all year. If you go in and lose, I don't think people are going to hold it over your head unless you have a poor effort, which I don't anticipate us having. So you can kind of go in there, you don't have to be afraid to fail in this game. I think this should be welcomed by our group because we've been a team that uniquely for our program, it has had all the pressure on us up to this point this year. Every game we're in, we've been expected to win, expected to play incredibly well, do all these things, and now this might be the first game, definitely the first game where we're going in as the underdogs, right? So hopefully that loosens us up a little bit. We can go play with a little more, just freedom and, not be worrying about making shots and, just go in there and just try to play hard. So,
Should the SEC, ACC be a home and home, or is it too roster fluctuation? Is it too difficult to do that?
You mean like year to year?
Say, okay, you're gonna go to Duke this year. They're gonna come here next year. That's the SEC, ACC challenge.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year window.
Yeah, I mean the tricky thing with our league is like for the SEC we do go home and then road,
right,
or road and then home. Somehow the ACC got it where they could pick a couple teams to go home. Duke hosted Auburn last year. Duke hosts us this year. It'd be nice to catch them on our home floor.
Yeah.
So that's a discussion to be had. But I think that would be unique and obviously pretty cool if we could lock in like a 2-year home and home as part of this. For sure, I could get behind that.
A couple more?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks all.
Good.